Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of FaB GaB. And this one is a little bit of a Twilight Zone episode, deja vu. For anybody who's been watching some of these shows, they'll say, "Didn't we do this one already?" This was a Revolver show. You went through those albums before, all the Beatles albums, and you did Revolver. In fact, I think it was show number 8, possibly originally, but because of a glitch, I'm now going to do it over again. It's a redux, whatever they call it. We got two people here that are going to do the show with me this time. We're going to rank our Revolver songs from, as I always say, least favorite to most favorite. Or if you actually think they're the worst and you don't like them, worst to best, whatever you want to call it. All right. So to start off, let me announce my two friends here today. First, we have Matthew Turnage. Hey, Matt, tell us all about your channel and such.
All right, yeah, I've got a channel, Matthew Turnage is just the name of the channel, and I talk primarily Beatles. Occasionally, I'll throw in something else. Did a Bob Dylan video recently. Probably going to be doing a Beach Boys video within the next couple weeks, but mainly Beatles and solo Beatles, and just looking at their history or their albums and things like that.
Okay, great. And of course, Matthew's been here before, but first timer here today. Welcome to Sam St. John. Hello, Sam.
Hey, Joe, Matt. Nice to be here with y'all. I appreciate the invite this time. Yeah, like Matthew, my channel is my name that I have listed on my screen here, and I'm predominantly an Americana guy. I enjoy Bob Dylan, John Prine, Van Morrison's one of my favorites. But again, like everybody, with any sense, the Beatles are my favorite band. I don't talk about them all the time because you have great guys like the two on the screen with me that do it much better than I can. So I just kind of put some other content out there and let the Beatles people have their fun. But I enjoy talking about the Beatles. I've talked about the Beatles many times, and I'm really looking forward to getting on with this album. It's a great one.
Well, it's well-mined territory, Beatles, to say the
Yeah.
least. How many times can you talk about the stuff? A lot of people do in channels too. It's good to try to do something a little different, right? Now, I'm going to put you on the spot here a little bit, Sam, because I didn't tell you this before we went on. I'm a little curious about this. Like you said, Americana and so forth. And sometimes I do live streams, and I learned that you're not a big fan, I hear, of the White Album, Beatles
That's
White
not
Album.
true. No, 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 no.
Oh, that's a rumor. Okay.
Somebody has been putting the wrong words in my mouth. What I said was I was on a certain live stream with one Larry Graves probably a month ago, and somebody was asking about the White Album in the comments, and I was they Larry went around the horn and asked everybody what they thought of the White Album, and I said, well, at that particular moment in time, that was probably my least favorite Beatles album. And then, of course, the joke became,
Uh,
well, we got our White Album hater with us. That was became the
uh,
upgrade of my name. But no, I'm just at this particular moment in time, the White Album's probably toward the bottom of my list. With that being said, the Beatles are my favorite band. I don't believe they have a bad album.
mm,
Just maybe next month it might be please please me. Right now it's
sure.
the White Album, and but I love it more than a lot of albums that I have in my collection.
Yeah.
So,
It's
um,
okay. You can stop sweating. I just thought that was interesting to bring up. But you see, this is how rumors get started. It's not like
that's right.
the
Shut that
John Lennon
down.
Christ statement, right? It's
Yeah,
all blown out
right.
of proportion, right? Geez, take it easy. The guy, it's just not the guy's favorite album. Take a tizzy. You know. All right. So as far as guys, let's talk a little before we start. Revolver came out August 1966. These days, I find that it's considered by many to be their best album. It used to be Pepper was always on the top. Now Revolver comes on the list a lot. And like you said, Sam, it tends to vary for me. I think it deserves a status as their best. It works if you're going to try to pick what's their best album. I think they're all great, but I think that fits the bill. What do you think, Matt? How about you? What do you think about that?
It's definitely one of their best. It's not number one for me, but I would have to have it in the top,
Mm,
3 or 4 for sure. I've actually got a good friend of mine who thinks it's their best. and that got to be challenging. And as I was going through ranking this, is there's so much good material on here, top to
Uh,
bottom. I was putting songs like at 8 or 9 that I was thinking this song is a classic, and I'm having to put it this low.
yeah, yeah, yeah. What about you, Sam?
Yeah, I can understand why it's listed so high for a lot of people's list. I mean, it's so innovative. And I've always I actually just recently talked about this in another video where, especially with the last song with Tomorrow Never Knows, it's kind of like, the official end to the Beatles' black and white period, moving into the psychedelic realm of the Sgt. Pepper Summer of Love the following year. So, I mean, it's obviously a transitional album, but like Matthew said, there's so many good songs on it. I mean, you had 3 number 1 hits on it. So, I mean, any album with 3 number 1 hits, I would assume could rank as the top. It's not my favorite. I'm an Abbey Road guy in terms of the Beatles favorites, but I do prefer it. Some days I prefer it even more than Pepper, and I think that's probably the reason why it's moved so far ahead, is that this one sounds more relevant now than Pepper. Pepper is definitely a '60s album.
That's a good point, and
Yeah,
and everybody's really firing on all cylinders. I mean, you got George here doing well with his songs, and then you got 3, and then you have Paul, some of his best songs he's ever written, arguably on here, and John as well, coming into more of a psychedelic phase. Yeah, it's great stuff. So yeah, and of course, I'm sure we agree. Like he said, it's hard to rank these. I mean, like these guys were saying. I mean, I like, again. It seems to be the old script. I like every song on here. I don't hate any songs on this album. Don't dislike any songs, but something's got to be at the bottom. That's what we're going to attempt to do here, fellas. So I had a hard time. I'm sure it wasn't easy for you guys either. All right. So how about we start with we got 14 tracks like the Beatles usually had right in those days, and we'll go from 14 and try to put our least favorite if we can do that. So I'm going to start with you, Sam. Your first time here, so you start us off with what you pick on the bottom, if you had to put one there, number 14.
right. For me, at this particular moment in time, number 14 for me is Dr. Robert. It's not a song that I think about a whole lot when I'm sitting to myself humming Beatles songs, or if I'm in the car. You get those songs like get in your head over and over again, and Dr. Robert has never been one of those songs. It's kind of a trippy song. I mean, in this time, it's common knowledge that the Beatles were ingesting a lot of substances and partying with a lot of different people that had access to these kind of substances, and this is kind of like an homage to that lifestyle. It's a great tune. I mean, I love the guitar. And I was just listening to Revolver yesterday, and one thing that I do find about this album is just how melodic everything is. Right down to Paul's bass playing. And I mean, I'm gonna be like a broken record, and for a lot of these songs, I'm just talking about like the bass playing on it and how melodic it is, and it's no different than for the song Dr. Robert. But yeah, it's not one that I go back to. So it's number 14 today.
Okay, yeah, it's not one that people think of right away when it comes to Beatles songs, right? All right, Matthew, how about yourself? What do you have for number 14?
Same for me, Dr. Robert.
Well,
It's a fine song. I mean, I don't dislike it at all. The guitar in it is there's kind of a little countryish flavor to the guitar, which I kind of like that bit. And there's some nice harmonies, especially the well part of the song. I
yeah,
like
that bit.
that. But overall, the song it just doesn't stack up to the rest of the album for me. It's fine, but I like the way Sam put it. It's not a Beatles song I'm going to be humming as I go about my day when I'm thinking about Beatles tunes.
I can see myself humming Dr. Robert when I'm at the dentist, maybe. That's much about it. All right. Now for me, I should mention, I've done this before, as I said, on the aforementioned first version. The first time I did this, I did not check the old video. I just did it totally from scratch. So I don't know how many of these are the same as I did last time, or if it's different. I figured I'd do it fresh. It'd be interesting to check at some point to see, um, because this is today, February 20th of 2022. This is how I feel right this moment. In fact, when I sat here, I'll be honest with you, before you guys came up, I reversed like three in the lower four. I kind of switched a few around, but anyway. So number 14 for me is, I know this is the same as last time, and it's not a popular pick, I'm afraid, but it's a lot of people frown at it. It's George's song "I Want to Tell You," which I do like much better now these days than I used to. I never really disliked it or anything. I don't know what it is about it. I figure I always say it's a little disjointed. It's kind of like I don't know, not smooth enough or something. It's kind of like the places it goes, pauses and everything. It's just the structure's a little weird to me. I'm trying to find something to say about it other than it's just my least favorite. That's all I can come up with, folks. So that stays the same, I'm pretty sure. So okay, we finished number 14, and with that, and of course, we invite people here that want to play along. Please put your opinions here. We're going to go through some of them. We have a lot of people picking Dr. Robert to start off, as you guys did. Uh, let's see. And Paulina says Revolver is the best mixed albums where Ringo's drumming really shines. Okay. Dr. Robert again. Dr. Robert again. I think I got to change my vote on. I must be missing something. Oh, maybe not. I want to tell you at number 14. Uh, and we got Paulina puts Yellow Submarine. I know Yellow Submarine is not a favorite these days. I've noticed. I mean, it's gone to the bottom. Good Day Sunshine, too sweet and sugary sounding for an album like this one. Leave it to Marcus Thompson, which I'm with you, buddy, but just not yet. Maybe next. Spoiler. Okay. Let's see. We got And Your Bird Can Sing. For shame, Jeff. For shame.
That's tough.
But this is the beauty of this, and that's why I love the Beatles. Everybody loves the songs, but they're in different orders. I mean, by far, we have John says Yellow Submarine at number 14. By far. And we got Beans puts number 14, Yellow Submarine. All right, so there we go, starting off. Now we'll go to number 13. And to start us this time, Matthew, I'm going to pick you.
All right. For number 13, for me, I went with Love You To. I see it as a very important song for the Beatles, with the introduction of the Indian flavor, that Indian backing on the track. I like the tabla in there at the beginning, and I really like this song. Really is important for expanding the idea of what pop music can be, and expanding what Beatle music can be. So I see it as an important song, but it's not necessarily a favorite song of mine. It's a good song. I like it. I'm never going to skip it on the album, but again, it's not a song that that's going to pop in my head as I'm thinking of my favorite songs and singing along in my head. So I like the song, but I don't love the song.
Okay, very well said. Okay, how about you, Sam, for number 13?
Well, Matthew and I are on the same wavelength because I've got the Love You To as well. And at some point, even I think last week, this song was my least favorite. But listening to Revolver again in preparation for this episode, I think what bumped it up a little bit was I thought the intro this time through listening to it was very interesting, just because it's got that slow intro.
Yeah.
And then you have George, hits that, and then it goes boom, boom. It kind of goes into that drone. I thought that was kind of cool. I mean, I've noticed it. I've heard this album a million times, but I don't know, it hit me a little bit different listening to it again. And I kind of thought, maybe that isn't my least favorite song. But yeah, I mean, again, it's one of George's Indian influenced songs. Wasn't really the first main Indian song. I know they did Norwegian Wood on Rubber Soul with the sitar, but that still had a more like Bob Dylan kind of melody to it. Whereas this one, he had the Indian session players and playing the
Mhm.
sitar himself. So it's not one that, I mean, it's not one that I go back to, and really that's the case for most of George's Indian related tunes. Um, I mean, it was definitely a move forward, and it definitely really shows on this album because it's song number 4 on the UK version. Where I'm sure audiences listening to it for the first time thought they're really moving into a new direction with this one, because the first 3 songs you've kind of got, you know, contemporary type pop music, but then number 4 you're like, whoa, what is this? So I'm sure, you know, it was very influential in 1966, but for me right now it's number 13.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I guess I'm next. Yeah, I'm gonna go with "Good Day Sunshine" for number 13. "Good Day Sunshine." It really is a great song. I mean, it's Paul doing what he does best. It's an effortless, probably, ditty that he writes that sounds really happy and upbeat, and it's perfect, right, for a sunny day. Let's go take a walk. And but yeah, sometimes it gets to me with the sugary sweetness. Um, I, I, I mean, again, it's weird how I can appreciate it when I'm in the mood for it. I fully appreciate it that he can do that so well. But I think where it really sits as a problem for me, if it's a problem, when I'm listening to the album and I get through side one and we end, I think it's she said. It's been a while since I played it. With John, so then you turn it over and it's "Good
Mhm.
Day Sunshine." Let's get back to like silliness again, and I think that's why he has his reputation sometimes. You can't just judge a song by where it is placed on the album, you know,
Mhm.
or anything like that. But it's just something about it. As much as I can appreciate it and the talent involved, when I do hear it, I kind of roll my eyes a little, Paulie, that kind of thing. So, "Good Day Sunshine," I have at number 13. So now let us look at some of these comments. And Paulina has "Love You Too." Uh, and I always think of the title too. It's not like "Love You Too," like also. It's T-double-O. It's like "I love you too." Is that what it means? I'd love you to do this. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's how, that's how it reads. "Good Day Sunshine" there, huh? Okay, agree with Marcus and me. Dr. Robert is number 13. "I'm Only Sleeping," John's song at number 13. "Here, There, and Everywhere," way
Mm.
down at
Ooh.
number 13. Okay, that's unique. Um, "Yellow Submarine" should have been a standalone single and left off the album. I can almost see that, except that, I want Ringo to have a song on the album.
Yeah.
We'll get into that, later, I guess. Dr. Robert, uh, is there such an album as Revolver? I don't. Did he pronounce that Redux or Redo?
Hmm.
Just Redo with an X.
Redux.
Redux. Is there such an album? There is today. "Good Day Sunshine," number 13, doesn't seem to fit this album. Paul should have saved it for Ram. Oh well,
Mm.
I don't know. "Yellow Submarine" for Christian. Robert S has number 14, "Good Day Sunshine," dead last. Interesting.
Wow, Robert.
And number 13, I want to tell you, we had it reversed, but the same too. All right. Dr. Robert, number 13 from
Yeah.
John. Decent but forgettable. Okay. We have one here. Wait a minute. Oh, this is okay. "Tomorrow Never Knows," such a great song. Thought it was very strange when I first heard it, but I think it's such a great tune. I would put that as the best one on Revolver. That's a little bit early, but okay there, buddy. All right. So now we're going to number 12. This is song number 12, beginning with "Sam St. John." What do you have, Sam?
Yeah, this was year number 14, Joe. And it was Robert's number 13. It's "I Want to Tell You." Um, the George song, the last George song on the album. Kind of like you said, there's not a whole lot to say about it. I kind of like the guitar, kind of like a fade in to the song. It sounds very 60s and almost musically, and don't jump on me, anybody, but it's almost like reminds me of like the Brady Bunch or something, like when they were singing songs, something like that. It just sounded very traditionally 60s. And kind of sunshine poppy, I guess. I don't know, but um, I'm surprised they gave George the 3 songs for this album and that he chose to put this one on there. I just wonder if he had anything else in the tank. Um, so yeah, not a whole lot to say about it. It's forgettable to me. Not one of George's best, but it's number 12 for me today.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Now we have Matthew with number 12.
All right, this is one I may be a bit unpopular putting it this low. If I remember right from the last time, I was much lower than most people on this. But for number 12, I've got "And Your Bird Can Sing."
Mm,
It's a nice song, and I do like the guitar bit through there. The guitar line, and again, hallmark of the Beatles is the vocal harmonies, and there's some really strong harmonies on this song. But I really don't know what to say about it other than there's just 11 songs that I like better than this one. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a good song, but it's not one of the ones that I'm gonna rush out for off this one compared to
And
what's
there's
ahead.
not much you can say about it. I don't think, really, even lyrically or anything. Let's go to me for number 12. Here's where I place "Love You To" by George. I really do like the song. Out of all George's Indian-inspired songs, I I don't know. I like them all really. I'm just trying. I wonder which one's my favorite. It could be this one. It really is exciting. It moves along. It's powerful. It's upbeat. It's intense. Like, I really like it. The sound of it. And very important. Like you said, in the history of the Beatles too, with the Indian influence and the instruments on there. I enjoyed it. Just that I like other songs better on the albums. Why I put it at number 12.
mm.
"Love You Too." So now let's see if we got some comments. I'm sure we do. Got to back up a little bit here.
And it's
Uh,
interesting what you said, Joe. Sorry,
yeah, go ahead.
about all of George's Indian songs. Like you have this "Within You, Without You," "Blue Jay Way," kind of like the big three.
The Inner
Um,
Light.
yeah, "Inner Light." This one, I would definitely say that this one's probably my favorite out of those four. That's a good. I've never thought about that, but I
It
would say
rock. I mean, I say it rocks a little more. I mean, George doesn't rock very often, but
nah.
it's more intense,
Yeah.
exciting to me. "Yellow Submarine" here at number 12. Now here we go. Eleanor Rigby. This is a big moment. Eleanor
Mm,
Rigby way down at number 12 for Paulina. Let's see. "I Want to Tell You" by Jeff, number
they matched.
12.
Cool.
She Said," Sir James Bowie, Sinatra, Lenny White, Lennon. Okay. "Yellow Submarine," number 12. Let's see. "I Want to Tell You" at number 12. Robert S. is Wowed by Paulina's pick.
Yeah, that was a bold choice.
Okay. Around this time, George was workshopping "Art of Dying." Okay. "Yellow Submarine," sound effects make it funny, but it's up there with "What's the New Mary Jane?" You Know My
Mm,
Name. Funny and enjoyable. Doesn't fit.
mm.
Okay. Me and Robert are very close with this game so far. I love you too. Okay, let's see what we got here. I'm just trying to go through some comments here. Nice little ditties. That P Diddy, or what? But way overplayed.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're up to number 11.
Mm.
Okay, and correct me if I make any mistakes, because
That's
sometimes I
11.
do.
Yeah.
Because I'm monitoring comments and I'm reading what I got and crossing things off. Number 11. We're up to Matthew, I believe, for number 11. What do you have, Matthew?
All right, number 11, I've got "I Want to Tell You." I actually like this song a pretty good bit. It's sort of unusual for George at this point in his career in that it's kind of a more piano-driven song as opposed to a guitar-driven song. Of course, later we get stuff like "Old Brown Shoe" that's more of a piano-type song from George, but I don't know if he'd done any
Jaunty.
before this one. Um, but yeah, I think George sings really well on this one. I love his lead vocal on it. Um, and it's got some interesting lyrics in there too. Like I like the line, uh, if I seem to be unkind, it's only me and not my mind that is confusing things. Always like that line in the song. So I think it's a good song. It's a fun song. But again, we're on a strong album, so that only puts it at number 11 for me.
Okay, number 11. Now for you, Sam, what do you have for number 11?
Number 11, I have She Said," the John track. Um, I like the guitar parts in the song. I think it's a unique song, and it definitely fits the musical tone of the album. It's not really a song with it kind of has a chorus, the "She Said, you know what it's like to be dead" kind of thing, but there's not really a hook to it that really catches my ear, which is probably why it's solo. And like Matthew was saying, there are so many strong tracks on this album that the so-called deeper cuts unfortunately kind of make their way to the lower tier, because the ones that are big are really big. And yeah, not a whole lot more to say about this one, but I do enjoy the guitar parts of it, and I think John's singing is really really good, and the background harmonies are really fantastic from the others.
Okay, that leaves me for number 11, and I might have done this last time too, because I remember putting this kind of early, and I think I remember saying I thought a lot of people are going to be shocked for me to put this at number 11, but because I'm a John guy, but I put I'm Only Sleeping at number 11. Um, I don't know. For the first time I heard it on Yesterday and Today in the States, it just was never a favorite of mine. I've grown to appreciate it a lot more, especially on the UK album, because it was so much cleaner guitar, backwards guitar sound and all that. It's innovative. It's got that psychedelia feel. Let's explore. Let's do different sounds and ideas, which I really like about it. And I got no problem with John's voice. I love the way he sluggishly sings it and stuff. But I don't know. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe it's because a little meanders around and it's kind of slow and dreary, but and sleepy. But isn't that the idea
Mm,
of it? I don't know. For some reason, it's just not within my top 10.
yeah.
So I put I'm Only Sleeping at number 11. All right. Let's go backwards and see. We have I'm Only Sleeping at number 11. Uh, is it? Is it? Oh well, wait a minute. He's got. I'm the only old man here, as far as I'm concerned. Let's see. Paulina has I'm Only Sleeping at number 11. I don't feel so bad now. Um, Love You Too, number 11. I Want to Tell You, number 11, and back to 12. Eleanor Rigby, Tired of It, and that's also something we come across a lot about whether or not you like it, but it gets so played out that right now, and with again, I emphasize this every time, should do it at the top. That this is about pretty much how you feel about it. It's not like you're saying, well, this is what's supposed to be number 14, and well, here, there, everywhere deserves to be number one because that's the best composition. Or what it otherwise, then we'd all have the exact same list. There'd only be one correct list. This is all how you feel at the time.
Right.
So let's continue. 11, Love You Too. 401. That's an example right there. 401, number 11.
Mm.
Let's see. Dr. Robert at number 11. 12, we had Love You Too, just the least favorite of the Indian inspired Beatles songs. Yellow Submarine still fighting for the bottom. 4 No One. All of Paul's songs are excellent, but For No One is the weakest of the four. Okay. Let's see. Love You Too. We had that. All right, let me just see where we go. And I'm Only Sleeping. Backwards guitar saves the track. It's a bit underwhelming.
Mm.
All righty. All right. You know what this means, guys? It means we're in the top 10 now.
Hey.
So it's just fun when Beatles have 14 songs. You usually get to do the bottom few, then you 10, and then five, top
Yeah.
five. So Sam, I'm going to go to you to start us off with the top 10. What do you have for number 10?
Yeah, and it's really at this point that all of these songs are ones that I would hum any time of day, which to me kind of makes them a better song just because they have that catchiness to them. But number 10 for me, it was just mentioned. It's "I'm Only Sleeping." Um, I know it's been mentioned by, I think, Joe. You had already mentioned it. Um,
Mhm.
I really like the opening chord, kind of like the upward stroke of the guitar, the acoustic guitar. I like that a lot. Um, and he just starts singing immediately into the song. Um, I love how they all sing. I'm only sleeping, and then that bass, doo 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 doo. I
That's
love that. I think that's
cool.
fantastic. And then the harmony with the two of John and Paul singing, all the world going by my window, Paul with the upper harmony. Um, Ringo's drumming is great on it. You've got the tape loops. It makes it, again, another innovative track. There were so many on this album. Just as a standalone track, if they were released as a single, they would just be incredibly innovative. And I think that this was a fairly innovative song for them. I mean, it may not be one of John's biggest hits, but um, it definitely was part of that push of them progressing as no longer being a live band, which is this is the album that came out after that announcement had taken place, and so it was showing that this is the reason we're not going to be doing that anymore. And the song is Exhibit A with those
Oh,
tape
for
loops and
sure.
yeah.
Definitely progressive. Okay. Matt, let's go with you for number 10. What do you got rounding out the top 10, top last?
Well, Sam and I are pretty close on a lot of them today. I'm Only Sleeping is my number
Yeah,
10
you
as
guys are
well.
close.
I could repeat a lot of the comments Sam said. One thing that I talked about when we did Band on the Run is on the title track. I like it when the words and the music kind of tell the story together, and this is not so much a story, but it's that same feeling that I feel like the music really gives you that sense of the lyrics of being in a dream state and sleeping and so the backward guitar bit and all that, I love all that stuff, and uh, and the vocals, that dreamy effect that John has in his vocal delivery, I really love. One thing I was reading that I thought was interesting was they recorded John's vocals. For this track at 45 cycles per second, and then the normal tape speed is 50 cycles per second. So when they played it back as it was mixed in, it altered the pitch and it kind of gave it a little more of that sort of unearthly, dreamy quality, which is to me the hallmark of the song. And
Mhm.
like Sam said, those harmonies in there are great. Yeah, this is definitely a song that I would hum from time to time. I like the song a lot.
And it's always fun with these when I do them, and other people that I'm sharing the screen with make me reconsider my pick sometimes. They convince me. And John's a little bit. I think there's even yawning in that song. I think. Yeah. Yeah. It makes me reconsider. Um, and reconsider sometimes the other way with putting things lower. For example, my number 10, I started out, I don't know why, that's how they fell. Dr. Robert at number 10. And I'm thinking, now I'm thinking, I don't know. Love You Too, I like better than that. I'm Only Sleeping better than Dr. Robert. So, this is not an exact science. It's just how it struck me this morning when I did this. Dr. Robert, yeah, not much to say about it, too. I mean, I guess you could say it's a drug song, that kind of like trancy part in the middle that I like. The bridge, well, 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 you're feeling fine. It's very like druggy and everything. And there's always that, everybody wonders, was it Dylan inspired? Because I don't know about that. That Bob
Mhm.
Dylan got them first into pot and everything. And then there's a story about the dentist that slipped acid in their coffee and all this kind of stuff. But he'll make you feel good, kind of thing. And again, it does. I like the way it moves along. It moves nice, and it gets to that part where you just take a break and you stop and trip out a little bit, and then you go back. And I like Paul's background. Well, he's so bad, you must believe. I like the way Paul sings in the back, you know. But yeah, all right. So I did made an argument both for why I would put it a little low and why I put it keep it at
It's
10.
a good argument. Yeah.
So I'm like, well, don't ask me which way to go with it, but that's what it is today. All right. Now we go to the peanut gallery. We got Taxman, number
Mhm.
10. We have I Want to Tell You at number 10. We have Good Day Sunshine at number 10. Got to Get You Into My Life, number
Mhm.
10. Love You Too at number 10. Within You Without You is the Better Harrison East Indian song. Taxman, great guitar from Paul. Indeed. I always said he's the best guitarist in the Beatles. Oh, sorry. Um, I don't know. I like George too at times. Gotta get you into my life. Gotta get you into my life again. Took years to warm up to it. It's a great song, but it doesn't say Revolver like Tomorrow Never Knows does. Robert S. has I'm Only Sleeping at
Hey, there
number
you go.
10. Wow, we are so close today, Robert. I tell you.
You match with Matthew and I.
Yeah. All right. So that's number 10. Now we're going to go to number 9. You can't resist that. Number
Why not?
9. All right, Matthew, start us off with number 9.
All right, my number 9 is Good Day Sunshine. And one thing I kind of realized as we've been talking through and going through this list, for me, Revolver is the album where it starts to turn in terms of who's writing most of the songs that I personally like. The first four albums, it's easily John has overall the better songs. And then as you get to Help and Rubber Soul, it's kind of even for me. But then with Revolver, that's where Paul really starts to take over. And so as I realize that, the lowest ranked Paul song I have here coming in at number 9, and it's a song that I really do like with Good Day Sunshine. I like the sound of the piano throughout this track. I think it's got a great sound, and it's a great melody. It's bouncy and cheerful, and I get what how some people feel Paul gets a little too sugary, like you mentioned, Joe. And maybe I go through phases in my life. I know there was a time in my life where those types of songs from Paul bothered me more. I think I'm in a phase now where I kind of like the sugar, So number 9 for me is Good Day Sunshine.
Yeah, I hate like putting it as some kind of criticism. That's why I try to make it both sides of it because I think it's a talent. It's his gift, one of his gifts, and he
Mhm.
can do rockers as well. Obviously, he can do everything. Paul,
Yeah.
he's amazing. I mean, he's still I consider the greatest songwriter. Single songwriter. Um, so I do appreciate it. It's that there are those times when I'm in a certain mood and I'm like, oh, like
Yeah,
Maxwell Hammer or something. Like,
right.
oh, come on, now of all times, sometimes it fits in perfectly where I would like it. Other times I'm like, eh. All right, so Sam, we're up to you for the number 9 song.
Well, number 9 is probably one that's playing right now on Beatles radio across the land. It's Yellow Submarine, the Ringo track. I know I was reading about it, and I know at one point they were kind of hesitant. Like at one point, Ringo wasn't sure he was going to do it, and he said they might just have to give me another country and western song to sing. Or he said I might have to sing somebody else's country and western song on this album. But it's a fun track. I mean, everybody knows it. It's probably the most marketable Beatles track, maybe other than All You Need Is Love. I mean, it's everywhere. You see it everywhere. There was, a whole cartoon based on it, and simple chords. It's not really Beatles chords in that song. It's got the sound effects and the bubbles and the waves and all that good stuff. And it's a fun track. Ringo's still singing it at almost 82 years old. So he's obviously at least loving the money that's coming from it. But it's a fun song. But it's unfortunately sometimes your personal opinions about it get wrapped up around it, and it is overdone. And I mean, it's not a sophisticated song like the last few that I have here. So it's kind of right there, smack dab in the middle.
All right. I put Yellow Submarine at number 9 also. I love the song. Yeah, I'm a little tired of it because of how much you hear it, but every time I hear Ringo start singing it, I give it so much of a pass because it's Ringo. I mean, it's a children's song. It's Ringo doing that kind of, he loves the children love Ringo, the mothers love Ringo. We got the mothers and the kids all the time. It's Ringo doing his fun stuff. I can't hate it, because it's him doing it. I might have felt differently if John was singing it or Paul was singing it, maybe. But it's just Ringo's like good old Ringo doing his song. I love the sound effects. As you say, you hear all this water stuff and slushing, and Ringo in the back, whatever he's saying. I don't know the words. Cable, cable, whatever. I love all of that. Yeah, it's a fun song. It's an earworm. You can't not remember it once you hear it. And I get why a lot of people would put it lower too. Depending where you're coming from. I mean, one minute I'm criticizing "Good Day Sunshine," next minute I'm applauding uh, "Yellow Submarine." But it's got that. It's a child song, which is another excuse. When you like something, you say, "Oh, that's what's wrong with that." It's a kid's song, and it works perfectly as a kid's song. But other times I can be the other way around. I can say, "Oh man, I can't stand something like the Frog Chorus by Paul. We all stand together. It's a kiddie song, or we're all together now. Oh, it's a kiddie song." It's like what? It depends on the song.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can love it as such. Sometimes maybe not. All
Well,
right, so that's we've done 9 now, and going back, we start here with Paulina again. At number 9 is Dr. Robert.
wow.
Taxman is number 9. 401 for Jeff, number 9. She said, number 9. And again, look at this. Isn't this amazing how all the songs that shows you that the songs are great, really?
Yeah.
Because yeah, I think you know it's not anybody else almost. You have an album, it's got the 2 or 3 good songs on it, and the rest are all filler, and everybody puts them at the bottom.
And that's the beauty of the Beatles too, is that like you were saying, you did a list of this earlier for another video, and you go back to it fresh and it's completely different. Or you hear somebody else's opinion about a song, you're like, well, maybe that is a better song than I gave it credit for. And that's part
Yeah,
of the reason that,
I get that
yeah,
all the time.
yeah. So
Well,
it's
isn't this inspired by the Love and Spoonful? I'm drawing a blank. Anybody else know?
Yeah, I actually read that. Now I can't remember which Lovin' Spoonful song it was, but Paul did say he had one of their songs in mind when he wrote
sounds
it.
like maybe Daydream could have been.
Did they?
Yeah.
But 9, I want to tell you. Let's see. Here we go. I had never. Oh, this photo in color. Talking about my thumbnail cover picture. All right. That's 9 gone. Now we're up to number 8. Okay, let's start with you, Sam. What do you have for number 8?
Number 18, oh, excuse me, number 8 is Paul Ballad for No One. Um, again, somebody in the comments was mentioning there were other Paul ballads on here, or Paul songs, I should say, and this is the one of the weaker ones for me. It's my first Paul track first full on Paul track to make the list here, and I don't know, maybe it's the horn solo that might put it a little bit lower for me. It's very simple. It's very short. And I've told this story before, but there's a funny story that I've heard. And I don't know if it's true or not, but that while they were recording the song, Peter Noon of the Herman's Hermits was in the studio or coming by, and he saw the tape, the demo or whatever it was for it, and it said, they had the song on it, and he thought it was a song that was written for Herman's Hermits because he read it as for noon instead of for
Ah,
noon.
you're
So
kidding.
I think I heard Peter Noon say that in an interview at some point, and I don't know if it's true or not, but I thought it was a funny story, and it would have been kind of neat to hear Herman's Hermits do it because it is kind of a bubblegummy kind of song, which is fine. I like that kind of stuff, but
Well,
um,
makes me think of a Peter Noon related story. I remember him once telling a story where I think he might have been in the same hotel as the Beatles or something. And it was in 65, I think it was 65. And the song, Mrs. Brown, You've Got a Lovely Daughter, was a hit. And I think one of the Beatles, I don't know which one it was, said, ran into Peter Noon and said, I really like that song or something. It's it might have been number one. I don't, it was a big hit. And he said, I just thought to myself, the Beatles know that I've got a hit record. you know, him tell. I really wish Peter Noon. I mean, I like Herman Hermits. I really wish I missed him once at the fest for Beatles fans. I really wish I could see him
he still
again.
sounds great too.
Yeah, yeah, I've
Yeah,
seen him online and stuff. All right, where are we at? We're up to Matt, right, for number
yep,
8.
number 8.
All right, number 8 for me, I've got Taxman, and yeah, this is another one where it kind of hurts putting it this low. It's just I like 7 more better, but this is a great song from George, one of my favorites from him, and I think it's really interesting that they gave George the album opener.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a fun song. It's one of the things I like about a lot of George's songs is how his sense of humor comes through in the lyrics, and the lyrics for this
yeah.
are great. A lot of funny lines in there. My favorite is probably my advice for those who die: declare the pennies on your eyes. Although I did read something that suggested that may have been John's suggestion
Mm.
for a line, but anyway, it's so many other good lines all the way through the song. Uh, the guitars are great. I like the kind of how the riff is kind of like a little stop start thing. It kind of lurches along and kind of creates uh, some energy that way. And of course, Paul, the guitar solos throughout are great. Another thing, that's kind of interesting about this track, putting it first on the album, is how it kind of, in one sense, harkens back to the first album with "I Saw Her Standing There." They both start off with
Mhm.
the count off before the song.
Good
Of
point.
course, "I Saw Her Standing There." Is 1, 2, 3, 4. The big energy, and this one's more kind of laid back. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4.
A
As it
little
goes
cough or
into it. So,
something.
yeah, yeah. So I like that. How it kind of eases you into the album. It gives a little more relaxed, even though the song is not relaxed. That kind of relaxed count into it, I really like a lot. So yeah, great tune.
Matthew. I mean, I haven't gotten a tax man yet, but since you brought it up, you know, I'm gonna say it was around 1974ish. I was first getting back into the Beatles. I liked the Beatles in the '60s when I was just a little boy, but then I kind of forgot about them when I got to be about 12 or something. And a friend across my street, who lived across the street when I was 12, he had all the Beatle records. And I remember going over there, and back then, I mean, I only knew up to the earliest Beatles. But that's when I started hearing like the Beatles' second album and thinking, "Oh, I remember this when I was just a little." You know when a kid says that when I was just a little kid.
Right.
You're 12 and you're still a little kid, but I remember that. Oh, and that's really that friend is who got me back into the Beatles by hearing his records. I remember Meet the Beatles' second album. But I mention it now because he had Revolver, and that at the time looking at that thing was like, this is really out of space stuff. This is really way out stuff. And I remember to this day him putting Taxman on in that beginning and me thinking it was so weird to hear them doing that voice. One. It's not just like 1, 2, 3. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4. And a cough. And then I thought at the time, I don't believe this anymore. Somebody was going, help. I thought he was saying, which is not really. I don't think he's saying help. I don't know if they're just going go or something like that.
Huh.
But at the time, I was like, "This is wild." You know. So there's another little tidbit.
That's neat.
um, oh, that leaves me on the spot to have to put this song at number 8. Okay. It's hard to put this spot. It should be higher, perhaps. But I put Paul doing here, there, and everywhere at number 8. A lot of people figure that's. I think Paul considers that his best song a lot. He says that. And I know my girlfriend loves that song. Might be her favorite Beatles song, and it's a beautiful song ballad. It's perfect in every way. There's no reason for it. Just that I like the other ones better. I think when I got to this point, I just like the other ones better. It's a gorgeous song. I have nothing to say about it, for it or against it. I just like the other ones better.
And I read that it was one of John's favorites too, wasn't it? Growing
Yeah,
up with the Beatles, yeah.
yeah. All right, let's go. Back up a little bit. Tomorrow Never Knows, number 8. We have I Want to Tell You, number 8. Jeff has Here, There, and Everywhere at number 8. Do you believe George Harrison has always been the less popular Beatle? Not anymore, certainly. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know. I never thought. I don't know. I think they all were popular at some point.
Yeah.
This is a good time to plug because I'll forget at the end. Kid O'Toole is here. Sorry I'm late. This is probably the hardest album to rank of all the Beatles' work. Every track is stellar. Yes, indeed. And she's one of my co-hosts on Talk More Talk. And tomorrow is going to be Talk More Talk. We're talking about depending when you watch this, February 21st. That's going to be at 9 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. Look at the Talk More Talk YouTube channel. We're going to be talking about Ringo Starr and his 1970s career, and in particular, how did Ringo's career start out so great in the beginning, and he had such many hits, and he was like doing better out of the gate than the others a lot, uh, better than John even, And then all of a sudden, why did his career start to taper off in the 70s? What happened? So anyway, that's that show. So tune in tomorrow. Talk More Talk at 9 p.m. Eastern. All right. She said number 8. I'm only sleeping. Number 8. John's songs were so strong it's hard to choose which is better.
Yeah.
Okay. Taxman number 8. Dr. Robin all the way up to number 8.
Wow.
Great transition from earlier Beatles sound to what they would become. Has anyone heard Rockwell cover of Taxman?
Wow.
I haven't, but I do love the Stevie Ray Vaughan cover of Taxman.
Oh yeah.
I like the Tom Petty version that he
Oh
does.
Yeah. He's got that snarl in his voice singing it.
And I also like the George Harrison version, the faster version that he does on Live in Japan.
Mm-hmm. He changed the lyrics.
Tomorrow Never Knows. Let me see, bouncing around here. Did I do all these around? I'm seeing the same questions. I might have done the same ones. All right, number 8 for no one.
That's me too.
Where were we at? Okay, we didn't really talk about the album cover with Klaus Vormann, longtime friend of the Beatles, designed. Yeah,
I think it's a great cover. It's kind of funny to me that is this album that they start really getting more psychedelic, and yet it's got a black and white cover because I think real colorful stuff with the psychedelic era. But I love the collage aspect of it. There's all sorts of I first got the album on CD, and so when I finally got it on vinyl to kind of really be able to see the artwork a little bit more and see all the little stuff in the collage, I thought it was great. One of my favorite things about it though is the big 4 faces on there are all drawn, but he's put in actual photographs of their eyes, which is
I never knew this. Is this the case? I never knew that.
Yes.
Yeah, their eyes are eyes.
Oh my goodness. And to this day, if I really want to stare with all these decades at the cover, I'll see pictures I didn't notice before. Like I never really spent a lot of time. There's just certain ones that pop out at me, and I'm looking at it because I have a lamp up here, a lamp that has all the Beatles covers on it. So, all right, let's move along here. I got to go. Well, I said here, there, and everywhere, right? Okay. That's how we got to this mess. All right. So now we're doing number 7. Gentlemen, sound good?
Yes.
Let's see. Matthew, you're up. What do you have for number 7?
All right, number 7, I've got to Get You Into My Life. In my younger days, junior high and high school, I was a trombone player, so I love songs with horns. And there's some great horns in this track. And it's again, Paul is at the peak of his powers here. He's just throwing off great melody after great melody. I love the melody in this one, and the bass line in this is really good. It's a fun track. It's always kind of got a lot of energy too, so it kind of gives you that little perk there at the end before they take you in a totally different direction for the last track with Tomorrow Never Knows. But great song. Got to Get You Into My Life. Number 7 for me.
All right, sir. Sam, how about you for number 7?
Number 7 is the opening track, Taxman, for me. Crunchy song with the guitar. And I've told the story because I'm a younger Beatles fan. I first started getting into the Beatles really in depth. I mean, I had like the one album when I was a little boy on cassette tape, and I listened to it in the car. But for me, like to get into more of their deeper cuts, I got the Rock Band game back in 2009.
Oh yeah.
And Taxman was one on that game, and it's very difficult to play on that game. I mean, the bass on it is moving all over the place, the guitar's all over the place, and somebody mentioned earlier that it's a killer solo by Paul, and something that I never really thought about until really this morning, kind of going over some notes on the album, and I just kind of thought about it with the whole count in with that kind of like the gritty, like the 1 2, like almost like a thicker accent. It's almost like, to me, like it's the character of the tax man, counting his taxes beforehand, and he's kind of got like this like underhanded slimy voice, like, I'm going to take your your 90% of your taxes.
Well, maybe somebody really is saying help.
Yeah, it could be. Because, I mean, and we this is the time of the protest song was in hot pursuit, of course, and this is the Beatles' first foray into a protest song, and they did a really good job at it, because I think George said something like, we were making a lot of money at the time, but we didn't realize how much of that money we weren't getting, and so it kind of ticked them off a little bit. But yeah, I kind of like the idea of it being the actual tax man counting before the song starts. So it's a great garage rock kind of song. And Paul does have that blistering solo.
Okay. For me, number 7, I hate to follow here, there, and everywhere with this For No One. I guess I like that better out of those two, a little bit. They're both great. I like the French horn in it, I got to say. I do. And, I like the feeling. It's just really emotional, the feeling, and I don't know, a love kind of lost type of thing. It's a sad song in a way, but very emotional, and a Paul classic for me. But I like 6 better than that, so that's why it's number 7. Now, if I can just take this back a little bit. Come on, who leads us off this time? Okay, Taxman.
Yep.
All right, number 7, Eleanor Rigby. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that a little bit. Yeah.
That's a good point.
Got to Get You Into My Life, number 7. Got to Get You Into My Life, number 7. Got to Get You Into My Life, number 7.
That's one of your favorite covers, isn't it, Joe?
I'm sorry?
I said, that's one of your favorite covers, isn't it?
Oh.
Got to Get You Into My Life.
I despise the Earth, Wind, and Fire cover.
That's what I thought.
I hate that thing with a passion. I'm sorry, folks. She said, number 7. And Your Bird Can Sing, such biting lyrics by John. Only guy that doesn't like the laughing version. I just, as guys, I want to hear, just sing it. You're ruining it for me. I know they're having fun, but yeah, and I know that Kit likes the brass. I was saying brass instead of horns.
Mm-hmm.
She likes that. I know, it's like me. Here, There, and Everywhere, great tune, number 7. All right, so let's go to number 6 now. Let's start with you, Sam.
Number 6 for me is Good Day Sunshine, which we were talking earlier how that kind of opens up side 2 on a completely different note than, we heard Yellow Submarine, and then She Said, and then we're back to kind of like the Sunshine Bubblegum kind of song, which I love. I mean, I'm a Paul fan for the Beatles. He's my top guy, and I remember singing this song all the time when I first got this album. And I think I first bought this album it was when the 2009 came out, so going on 13 years ago that I've had this album, and I remember singing it a lot. I love the low end piano, making it a fade to end song. But what was kind of interesting about it, and probably what makes it so high, is that it's a perfect song leading into And Your Bird Can Sing. With it kind of, you have like this, sunshiny, non-psychedelic song, and then at the end it kind of has like the voices on top of each other. Paul singing Good Day Sunshine, and then his voice higher up, Good Day Sunshine, good. It's kind of like this, like the fade out is really interesting, and then it goes into And Your Bird Can Sing. And I think it leads into it perfectly, even though they're two completely different songs. I think it's a great I think it's a great song to open side to because of that lead in into the next song. So that's probably why it's so high. And
I
it's
even like "And Your Bird Can Sing Better." Here's my plug for the American albums. Oh, sacrilege!
mm,
We haven't talked about that. How obviously, as I always say, if I had to pick just one version of Revolver, it would be the UK.
it's more
Obviously,
songs. Yeah.
but because in the states we actually got "And Your Bird Can Sing" as part of Yesterday and Today with Dr. Robert and "I'm Only Sleeping" first, and then later when we got Revolver after that, we didn't need those three anymore on it. But I like they have "Anya Bird Can Sing" as the opening track, I believe, on side two. As an opening track, I love this the sound of that as well. But I do agree with what you say. The way it's sequenced on the British album is
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
I agree with you there. Okay, Matthew, you're up for number six.
Number six, I've got Eleanor Rigby. Some
Okay.
of the best lyrics from Paul, and I love the strings, that real biting string sound. The song feels very kind of claustrophobic to me. There's a sense of oppression to it in a way, and the melancholy in Paul's voice, it really sets the tone really well. It's a really strong tune. I hate putting it as low as number six, but it's definitely a classic, and I love that it comes so early in the album, coming off of Taxman. That really tells you, okay, you're in for a lot of different flavors in this album, and just get ready for the ride.
Yeah.
Oh, I like the way you put that.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see now. For number six, that's where I placed Taxman. Just missed the top five. It could be in the top five any given day. I love it. It's great. I love the unconventional opening. Love that George has an opening track on the album. Love the guitar through it that Paul's doing. Um, I love that George is sticking it with a kind of a protest song to paying taxes. I love all that, like take that kind of thing. Everything about it is great. There's a lot of humorous lines in there. If you take a walk, I'll tax your feet. You know, I'll tax every damn thing. So all those of us who pay taxes can relate, right? So it should be almost everybody, I would
It's never
think.
fun. Yeah.
Let's go up here now. The peanut gallery, as we say. And Your Bird Can Sing is number six. Okay, someone else hates the Earth, Wind, and doesn't like the Earth, Wind, and Fire version of "Got to Get You Into My Life." Love You Too. Oh, that's a good showing. Number six.
Mm,
She said number six for Jeff. Eleanor Rigby at number six for no one. French horns. There you go. I'm Only Sleeping. That's a pretty respectable showing for that. Let's see, down a little bit here. Um, Sorry, folks, it bounced. Got to Get You Into My Life, number six. Uh, Number six, Tomorrow Never Knows, scared me the first time I heard it. That happened to me with a lot of Beatles songs. The
I get
ending of
that.
Strawberry Fields Forever gave me the creeps. When it goes away and comes back, it goes, it's freaking scary as hell. That thing. Uh, and even Adam says, that's right, George Harrison's sense of humor shines on Taxman. Number six, we got Dr. Robert. Down, 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 down. And me and
No,
Robert
Robert.
this again. Can't always be 100% alike. What a boring place it would be if we were all the same. Hey, you know what this means? You got a top five. The top five. How to narrow these great songs down to five? Come on.
Tough.
Impossible. But that's why I'm going to give Matt the first one because he's got to deal with it first.
All right, number five, I have For No One. Yeah, this is another great melody and great singing from Paul. But what really makes this song stick out to me is the lyrics. Uh, Sometimes I think Paul gets a little underrated as a lyricist, but there's some really great lines in this one, and especially if you've ever been through
Uh,
a bad breakup, a
oh,
lot of
yeah.
those lyrics you can really identify with. Your day breaks, your mind aches. I love that line, and especially my favorite line of the whole song is, in her eyes you see nothing. The sense of looking in her
Yes.
eyes and knowing that all the love is gone.
Sheesh.
It's such a paints such a great picture. I think it's some of Paul's best ever lyrics. I love
Yeah.
that song.
Yes. You're right. You're right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And yeah, because I like the emotion, as I said, and it's a sad song. Really hits you.
Mhm.
So well said.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Sam St. John, it's your turn. Number 5. What do you got on the bottom of the top 5?
The bottom of the best. I have got to get you into my life. Again, another song that stuck with me when I was younger. I loved again the horns counterbalancing Paul's vocals, which Paul has some killer vocals in it. Um, it's almost like two different voices because he's kind of got like that sweet kind of singing, and then when the chorus comes, he's just shouting, got to get you into my life, and then the horns come in. And then I love the guitar, the now, 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 and then there, now, 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 now. They kind of they echo what the horns have already been doing. Um, and again, it's one of those songs, kind of like "Good Day Sunshine," where it's just such a different song from what was to come after it because it's the second to the last track on the album, and it's nothing like the last song, and um, yeah, just a fun song. Paul always said that it was about pot. At this point they were really head over heels and into that kind of culture, but whatever it's about. I mean, it's just a great little love song and just a fun track. And again, the horns really make it for me.
All right. If I've been marking this off right, we already did. I already did your pick, right, Matt, for
Yes.
5. I'm last. Okay. I'm with you, Sam. Got to get you into my life, and is number 5 for me. Uh, Probably back in the day, I would have put it number 1. I'm just really tired of it. They still play that on regular radio a lot, and I think it's played to death. But get removing from that, it's just a wonderful commercial pop song. It should have been a single, and it was a single later on in 1976. And now this goes to the tired old story that a lot of people have heard me say. I was just getting heavily into the Beatles in 1976 when I was really becoming a collector and really going past the early years. But at that point, I don't believe I was that familiar. Well, I wasn't familiar with Revolver because McCartney with Wings was really soaring high in
Mm-hmm.
'76, touring. They had Speed of Sound out, and Let 'Em In was a hit, and Silly Love Songs was a hit, and the radio was also playing the new re-release, Gotta Get You Into My Life, which I thought was a new Wings song. I thought this is a great new McCartney and Wings track. And, and the horns too make sense because they were doing a lot of that, on that tour and stuff. And, it sounded like a Wings song to me. I love it. It's such an uplifting, terrific song about wanting to get, I'll go, you see, I'll go there. Don't worry. Uh, a woman in this case, I suppose, and into my life, right? Hey, I suddenly see you. Oh, I need you. All this kind of stuff. Should I go on? And then we find out it's about an ode to marijuana. Oh man, does that get me down?
The blow.
I'm not a fan of smoking and everything, but nevertheless, it just. I mean, I always want Paul to he has like the nerve to say, hey, this was about something a little offbeat. That was about something different. Does it have to be this song, Paul? Did you have to do it with this
Yeah.
song? That kind of sours me a little bit, but I love the song. So,
That's a good way to
got
put
to
it.
get you into my life. Number 5 there. The best Wing song that the Beatles did. Uh,
That's a great plug.
so,
Yeah.
oh, I don't even know where I am. Okay, I'm going to figure it out. Sorry if it takes. There we go. 5, Good Day Sunshine. 5, 401. Yellow Submarine, number
Wow.
5. Um, I see Maz Art got the idea a little late. We have some choices here like Yellow Submarine 13, Love You Too, number 12, for example. Um, Here, There, and Everywhere, number 5. On For No One, Paul sounds a bit like Billy Joel.
Mm.
Mm. Top five. My five is Taxman. George's best song on the album and a great way to open the album.
Hmm. I agree. It's a great opener.
Okay, I'm not going to put any nonsense about Paul's death. Paul didn't die. And Your Bird Can Sing. And I fell in love with this when I heard it on the Butcher.
Hmm.
Okay, let's go. And Your Bird Can Sing, number five. I'm Only Sleeping, number five.
Wow.
You like the Capital mix a lot better. That's pretty interesting. I'm having more and more of an appreciation, as you know, for the American albums. I just am. I know it's not what the Beatles intended, but I've got a few videos on that topic on my channel. The summer of '76 was a great time. Indeed, it was. Indeed, it was. Uh, okay. I don't know if I should mention this. Well, I'll put it down. I won't say anything. Yeah, that's true. Uh, they thought that, so why not throw in marijuana as well? Number five, Taxman from Kit. All righty. Okay, folks. Now we're going to move along here to number four and start with Sam St. John. What you got, Sam?
Number four, I know this is a favorite of our friend Matthew Street just because of its power pop influence, and that's And Your Bird Can Sing. An early example, so to speak, of power pop as a type of music, and killer guitars. This is one that probably the last couple of years has really made a bigger impression on me moving forward, and I think a lot of it's been from just watching videos like this and kind of give me a new respect for these songs. Fantastic harmonies between John and Paul. I love the bridge. When your mind is broken. Just I love how when they say I'll be round, and then they kind of have that tell me that you've heard every sound there is. I love that part of the harmony. I think it's fantastic. I love the ending of it. How it ends. It doesn't fade out with the guitars. Great bass playing. Again, I know I mentioned that at the beginning of the video, but this one in particular, I love the bass sounding on, especially re-listening to this album over the last couple of days. And it's just a rocking song. I discovered it on Rock Band when I first got that as a freshman in high school. And I've really gained a lot of respect for it. So it's in the top five.
Yeah, I love hearing those Rock Band memories too, because there's so many different things that got younger people at the time into the Beatles.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it might have been. And later on, there are people that were into the anthology. They saw the anthology, they got into the Beatles, and then there was the Rock Band game, and there was the CD One, the Hits album,
Cirque du
2000.
Soleil. Yeah.
All these things really got younger people interested and aware of the Beatles. And I was kind of hoping that the Get Back documentary was going to do that, but it didn't. It didn't seem to do that really as much. I think we said mostly older people tuned in for that, but still, it can't hurt. Whatever it takes, right? All right, Matthew Turnage, it's your turn up at bat here for number four.
All right, number four, I've got Tomorrow Never Knows. It's such a great way to close out the album. One thing I haven't talked about enough so far today is Ringo's drumming. It's great all the way through the album, but this track in particular, I really love Ringo's drumming on it. And there's so much going on with the effects, the tape loops. There's that drone effect. I think there's only one chord through the whole song. So from that standpoint, it's simple, but you have all this stuff layered on top of it, all these weird effects. The backward guitar bit in there I really like a lot, and of course John's vocals are great. What did he tell George Martin? He wanted to sound like the Dalai Lama on the top of the mountain, singing out the song.
Yeah. What do they call those? Is it a Leslie speaker? What do they do that they?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a Leslie speaker, and it's usually what I've seen them used with is like a Hammond organ. The speaker has a rotating speaker in it, so you get this kind of swirling sound, and it sounds great on something like a Hammond. But the Beatles used it a lot on guitar starting around this time, in particular as you get like into the later albums. George does a lot of stuff on Leslie guitar solos through a Leslie speaker, but they used it for John's vocals on this track to give it that strange effect, and it just sounds great. It's a killer tune, and it's this is kind of the uh, precursor to Sergeant Pepper. This is showing us, okay, here's where we're going now, and
Yeah.
it's that move to creating music with the studio as the instrument, and things that can't be replicated live. That's something we haven't mentioned, but Revolver came out just before they did their final tour, but they didn't play any songs from Revolver on that tour. They did Paperback Writer, which was done during the sessions, but none of these songs were played on that tour, even though that was the new album that they had out. So they were really seeing the studio work and the live work as separate things at this point.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now I'm gonna wind up number 4. That's where I placed "She Said, She Said."
Wow.
Supposedly John was on an acid trip or something out of his mind, and he kept hearing the actor Peter Fonda telling him, "I know what it's like to be dead. I know what it's like to be dead." They were both like, stoned, I guess. And he was like, "Stop that," It kind of freaked him out or whatever. And that he became a she. Later on, she said, she said. And
Hmm.
what do I like about it? Just John being John, just really like, I don't know, grungy and nasty sounding and tough. I just like the sound of the whole track. It's, out there, a way out hard sound. And I like the whole bit about when it changes the pitch and go. It talks about the whole bit about when I was a boy, everything was right. That whole bit, I like that, and I like the drums on there too. I like Ringo. I mean, Ringo's drums throughout. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because they stick out in this song to me a lot, and I've always liked this track quite a bit. All right, and is this the track? There's a track that Paul's not on. Is that the one?
Yeah, that's the
Is it-
one. Yeah, Paul left the studio. Apparently, he and John had some sort of argument while they were recording it, and he took off, and he's not on this one.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Now we're gonna go backtrack a little bit here. Just want to see what other people put. We have "I Want to Tell You" pretty high.
Wow.
Another song to Scream, "Revolver." Hey, Paulina and I see eye to eye on "She Said, She Said." "Good Day, Sunshine," number 4. Jeff Kendall put Eleanor Rigby, "Good Single," as number 4. Um, Eleanor Rigby, number 4. Eleanor Rigby. Anya Bird Can Sing.
And that's another thing. I don't know if we really talked about it. Was how many actual album cuts were singles from this? Like more so than other albums. Um,
Which one's the Yellow Submarine?
Yellow Submarine, Eleanor Rigby was.
That's a B side, Yellow Submarine.
Yeah. Gosh, what was another one? Um,
I'm drawing a blank. I don't know.
was Good Day Sunshine? Was that one
I
as
don't
well?
think so. Well, again, I need to talk about where. I mean,
True.
in
Yeah.
England or the States. I don't think there were any actually, but
But I guess like there was just so much that they were working on with this album. Whereas in the past they were putting out so many singles in a year that didn't make the albums. They were really honing their craft and like focusing on a set amount of songs versus putting out a ton of output. They were really creating quite a bit. So just thought I'll throw that in there.
Okie doke. Oh, I'm just gonna fix something here. Hold on a sec. There you go. All right. For no one here. Exquisite blend of classical and pop, indubitably. I would say exquisite. Um, yeah, John called a lot of things throwaways, man.
Yeah, that one's
Hey,
definitely not.
I just say an artist is his own harshest critic, and they always want to do better and stuff.
Yeah.
All right, all right, all right. Okay, we're uh okay. Now we're up to number three, top three. All right, the top three. I'm a little excited. I can't wait to hear what these are going to be. Starting with Matthew.
All right, number three. She said. She said.
Wow.
Yeah, it. And that's one a few months ago. I don't know if I would have put it quite this high, but just here lately, I can't get enough of this song. I love it. It's a really interesting vocal melody from John. I love the way he kind of he kind of brings it through and how it bends around at certain parts. Like well, I love the lyrics and the melody together. How it goes through the bit about. Um, she said, "You don't understand what I said." I said, "No, no, no, you're wrong." And then, like you said, Joe, that's when it turns back around into that "when I was a boy." I love that bit, and how the music flows through that. Ringo's drumming is outstanding on this track, um, and the guitar interacts with the vocals in a really interesting way on this one. I think, yeah, great song.
All righty. Okay, Sam. That up to me already. Number three, right?
It's
All
me.
right. This one, I'm
No,
giving
I
it
haven't.
respect.
I want to say
I'm sorry.
I haven't given my number three.
You didn't?
No, not yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go
Yeah,
ahead. Go ahead. Thank goodness.
Um,
Because I thought
number.
I almost was going to spoil it. Go ahead.
No, you've done very well so far. You got a lot
Thank you.
going on.
Go ahead, Sam.
Number three for me is Eleanor Rigby, the Paul masterpiece. Again, Matthew put it really well earlier, just in reference to just the songs in general. How you have a song like Taxman, and then you have like symphonic pop from Eleanor Rigby, and then you go into the trippy "I'm Only Sleeping." It's literally like it's a patchwork quilt of different types of music here, and I mean it's obviously a masterpiece. The Beatles themselves aren't even playing instruments; they're just singing the harmonies on it. So that's in itself different than a lot of what they have been doing prior to this. Obviously, it's one of his biggest hits. He's still doing it live, whether you love it or hate it. I know it's kind of standard fare now for Paul to sing this song, but and I was tempted to put it a lot lower just because of how overdone, so to speak, it is. I mean, there are hundreds of videos of Paul doing it. It's been covered by a ton of people. It's always on the list of greatest Beatles songs. It's on all the compilations. But I mean, there's reason for that. I mean, it was a number one hit. Every reason. It's perfect storytelling. It shows Paul at his songwriting best. With the two characters of Eleanor Rigby and Father Mackenzie, and how the two stories combine at the end. It's just brilliant. And how they're able to do that. And, a 2.5 minute song is genius. So, yeah, it made the top three for me.
So well stated, Sam. So well stated. The fact that I don't have to repeat a lot of it as my number three, because that's where I was going to kind of go. Eleanor Rigby, I put for number three. And again, a lot of what you said is what I'm saying, because this is a song that I'm kind of tired of. I'm tired of hearing it. And that goes live. There was a time when I would kill for Paul to do this live or any song live, and then I'm getting tired of it, get spoiled by it. And it's everywhere. It's here, there, and everywhere. Eleanor Rigby. But I this is a case where I'm saying, no, wait a second now. Try to make a mix of what you think is the greatest along with your favorites. And I remember the first time that I was really into it was when I had a 45. I bought the 45 at a record store of Yellow Submarine, and Eleanor Rigby was on the B side. I don't think I'd heard the song much at that time. And I had one of those, for people that are interested in collectibles, I had one of those red orange Target singles of Capitol, swirly things. And I played it over and over again, Eleanor Rigby. It was just so powerful. I don't know how old I was then, 12, 13. And it was like really, it was creepy, but not creepy in a scary way or anything. It just was very like it's supposed to be, the feeling of loneliness, abandonment, and I like what you said, Sam, about the two characters' stories coming together. Mackenzie with Eleanor Rigby. I take it for granted so much right now
Mm-hmm.
because I've heard it so much, and all the classical instruments on it and everything. I just take it for granted that it's like, oh, it's Eleanor Rigby again. But boy, when I first heard that, I was floored for a long time, and that's why it probably, if I was going to rank the songs more objectively and what I thought was number one, this should be number one. This
Mhm.
deserves. I would put Eleanor Rigby probably as the one that's deserving of most number one
I agree.
if I was doing that. But I'm glad it still makes it to three for me. Um, Eleanor Rigby, folks. All right, now let's see. Uh, all right, and your bird could sing made number three. Taxman made number three. She said. She said.
Well,
She said, grungy, nasty sound, etc. I'm listening. I heard that somewhere. Who said that? Me. That's who said it. Uh, uh, I want to tell you number three. Got to get you into my life, number three. And your bird could sing. Here we go again. So many different favorites. Here, there, and everywhere. Number three. Tomorrow never knows. Number three. And yes, the drumming on. She said. She said. So Ringo's best ever. Let's see. Like the fact that Eleanor Rigby had key lyrical input from both Ringo and George. Yeah, George says that he contributed to. I've heard stories that he did the all the lonely people part. Uh,
I didn't know that.
how true that he hears so many different things, reads so many different things. I think John overstated his importance. There you go again, all you people that are always checking me. John, he's always sticking up for always praising John. I think John might have overstated his importance on that, but I don't know. So many
Well,
people. Pete Shotton, if his friend said everybody had a hand in it. I think he said.
I was gonna say we saw in the Get Back movie just how much people were throwing in, lyrics. Even Glenn Johns was throwing in lyrics. And then we didn't mention for Yellow Submarine, Donovan
Right?
in
Yeah.
a line. Yeah.
I totally didn't. I don't have it embedded in here, but I remember hearing. I think it was on the Beatles XM channel. He said that, and I was like, I never knew that.
The sky of blue, sea of green, I think is what he
Oh,
did.
there you go.
Yeah.
Uh, only sleeping. Was it a Target exclusive? No, no. There was no Target then that I know of. Let's see where are we at here. Gonna block something. Um, All the Lonely People sounds like a George Harrison title, so it makes sense. But I know Paul wants that to be his, so we'll give give it to Paul. Uh, well, anyway, we're up to the top two. Let's go. Start with you, Sam. Number two.
Yeah, number two for me, another Paul song, Here, There, and Everywhere. Um, Arguably his greatest ballad. I mean, it's some people were saying, sappy, cornball, syrupy, whatever you want to call it. Um, from what I understand, this was one of those instances where the Beach Boys and the Beatles were kind of taking ideas from each other and just living off of the inspiration of the other. And um, I think they had said that Paul had heard Pet Sounds and heard this was about the time that he heard God Only Knows and wanted to do those tight harmonies like the Beach Boys. And so this song was, inspired by God Only Knows by the Beach Boys, which of course he said is his favorite song, Paul did. But I do love the harmonies in the background. I kind of like the guitar kind of in the weird, almost like minor off tune kind of sound that now in the background. It doesn't go with the song at all, but once it's put together, I mean, it's masterful. I think it's beautiful. I wish this was one. I wish Paul would take out, like in today's concert world, that he would take out a song like, Here Today or something like that, and do Here, There, and Everywhere, like to replace one of his ballads that he does all the time with this song, because it does kind of fall under the radar to songs like Yesterday or Blackbird. I think it's of the same caliber, even if the music might be more corny, but I love it. It's one of my favorite ballads by him.
Well, that's a good choice for sure for number two. Okay, Matt, what do you have for number two?
My number two is Here, There, and Everywhere.
Ah,
Uh,
good choice.
yeah, it's one word that I hear sometimes given to Paul's ability to write melodies is how they're effortless, and this is one of those effortless melodies. It's uh, so easy and yet brilliant at the same time. And those backing oohs throughout are just perfect. One of the things that's really interesting to me about this track, being a ballad, you might think that the instrumentation Paul would use an acoustic guitar, but it's an electric guitar,
Yeah.
with some subtle drumming from Ringo, and then that's it. It's a very spare arrangement, and but the electric guitar I think gives it a little unusual flavor for a ballad, but it just works perfectly. And again, like I said, it's one of Paul's very best melodies. John spoke very highly of this song. It's an absolute classic.
Hmm. Nice. CDP really appreciated that song too. All right. Now for me, for number two, I put "And Your Bird Can Sing" at number two. Um, why? Well, when I was a kid, I remember it opening up the Beatles cartoons. I watched the Beatles cartoon series, and one of the introductions, they might have had a couple, but one of them for a period of time. And I remember that when it was first aired. That's why I say, hey, am I a first generation fan? I don't know. I don't mind being a second generation fan. I don't mind at all, or third, or whatever you want. But somebody once told me, wait a minute, if you were watching those cartoons and you loved the Beatles and you used to watch and read the words of the song, the songs on the bottom, and you got into it and you had the records, and your family and relatives used to bring over records for you or for gifts and things, and you played them on your little Mickey Mouse thing, you were a fan at first when they did it, even if you were 5, 6. I'm like, you got a point there. Never thought of it that way. And Your Bird Can Sing always reminds me of that. It was always an exciting intro, an exciting opening. As you said earlier, Sam, as a second track on the side in the UK album, it's great. As I was saying, it opens up a side on Yesterday and Today. It's energy. It's got the guitars, those rousing guitars. It's got that great John vocal. I don't know what the hell it means. I mean, I've looked up John trying to explain what he means by that song. You don't get me twice, or what? You think I don't really understand it. I tried to understand it, but I just like the sound of it, the energy of it, and how exhilarating it is what I love. It to this day. I never tire of hearing that anytime that comes on. And it's over. It's kind of short and sweet. I always feel it's a little fast for some reason with those guitars. Terrific. That's why it's my
Yeah.
second favorite song on the album. I think for now, anyway. Um, let's see. We got number two, For No One. We got another vote for No One. Number two. Matthew Smith has Tomorrow Never Knows. Tomorrow Never Knows. Jeff concurs. So does Farrell McNulty. Got to Get You Into My Life. Number
Wow.
number two. Tomorrow Never Knows. Lyrics from the Tibetan Book of the Dead. What's not to love? Uh, Taxman. Eleanor Rigby. The Kit. Sheer poetry lyrics. George Martin's arrangement is haunting, a masterpiece, no
Yep.
doubt. No doubt. So I'm having trouble here with this. Oh, I don't want to repeat things. Uh, Sorry if I'm repeating things. This is yeah. Sorry, folks. I'll get to it. Oh, here's what I'm looking for. Okay, I'm Only Sleeping. Number two. That's
Good
pretty
song.
high.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so this leaves us to number one. Ta-da! The big moment. Hoo-hoo-hoo. And let's start with, for the honors, Matt at number one.
All right. I just remind everybody before they try to have me committed to a mental institution for this.
Too late.
It's not what do you think is the best song. It's your favorite song. And my
Correct.
number one song is Yellow Submarine.
I love it. I love it.
I think it's
Yeah.
a great song. I love Ringo's vocal on it. It's so much fun. The song is so much fun, and Sam was mentioning the Beach Boys influence on the Beatles. I was just thinking this weekend. I hadn't thought of this before, but kind of with the acoustic guitar and the crowd vocals, I kind of wonder if Beach Boys Party might have had some influence
True.
on this song. But I love all the sound effects. They're all so much fun. All the talking in the background. Somebody in the comments earlier said it was up the cable. I always thought it was drop the cable that he's saying, and full speed ahead it is, Sergeant, and all that stuff. I love all of that. Um, and yeah, uh, and this is another song where, like Tomorrow Never Knows, the studio is the instrument. They're creating this song with all these elements that it's not meant to be performed live. It's meant to be a studio creation. Um, and if you'll indulge me just another minute, another thing, personal reason why I love this song so much, and it's my number one. When I was in high school, I grew up in a small town, and if you've ever seen the movie Wayne's World, I was in high school when that movie came out, and that was basically me and my friends, except we didn't have a cable access show. But the whole concept of no money fun, the weekends for us were mainly piling up in cars and riding through the loop through our small town and just cranking up the music. And my friends we were a lot of hard rock and heavy metal guys, so most weekends we might be listening to some Metallica or Queensryche or whatever. But I was with a friend of mine one weekend who also, like me, we liked that stuff, but we also liked the 60s stuff. And for whatever reason, he had picked up a copy of the cassette single of Yellow Submarine. They just reissued all the Beatles singles on the cassette singles. And he popped it in, and we were listening to it, and we were just having so much fun singing along. We kept rewinding it and listening to it over and over again. We must have listened to it 20 times in a row, just singing along. And so the song always brings back memories of that night to me. It's just a lot of fun to be had with this song.
Oh, I love hearing stuff like that,
Yeah, that's
memories like
cool.
that. And take that, all you Yellow Submarine bashers. That's all I could say. It's so good to hear
And
somebody
that's
put it
funny
in
that
the
you
whole.
said they never intended it really to be live, and Ringo sings it every night now
Right.
for 30+ years now.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. All right, that was great. All right, you're up now, Sam. Number one.
Number one, it's a lot of people's number ones, I think. It's Tomorrow Never Knows, the John Lennon trippy affair here. It was always interesting to me the first time I learned this, that it was the first song recorded for the album. And it's amazing that they record a song like that and then do a song like, Yellow Submarine after that. It's not like they were building up to Tomorrow Never Knows, because, again, this is a perfect album closer, this Tomorrow Never Knows. I mean, the Beatles knew how to make a track list, that's for sure, and this is no exception. And it's funny to me that this is my favorite song because, as I mentioned, kind of when we were plugging our channels at the beginning, I'm more of an acoustic songwriter kind of fan, and you would think that, oh, maybe, I don't know, Here, There, and Everywhere, or For No One or something like that would have been number one, and some days that's the case, but I don't know. I think just the experimental nature of it just makes it so different. It doesn't sound like anything. Again, I first heard this song. I first heard the song as the mashup version from the Love album, which is the version that they use on the Rock Band, where they combine it with Within You Without You, which is, I think, is a fantastic job by Cirque du Soleil and George Martin, who had a hand in that in the early 2000s. I think that those two songs fit so well together, and so you know on the Rock Band version, you have the drumming and the weird tape loops of the Tomorrow Never Knows with the lyrics of Within You Without You, and so like that's all I knew for about a year or so until I bought the album,
Yeah.
and then I was like, whoa, this is new to me. So I thought that was just really cool. Um, yeah, it's just so different. Even now, I mean, you play this song now, you might not be 100% sure what decade it came from. I mean, it's so unique, and like Matthew said earlier when he was ranking it, it's just one chord, which is very, that whole tonal music that they were really all getting into at that point. Um, you know, John trying to be a monk up on an alpine, mountain somewhere. shouting the song from the mountaintops. It's just a great song, and I think it would have been neat. It's always that question of what if the Beatles had stayed together. It'd be interesting to have seen this song done live to see what they would have done. Like if
Yeah,
one of them
yeah.
would have just pressed a button, like if they were doing this in the '80s, they would have pressed a button on a synthesizer just to play the background. And it just would have been John Lennon standing there, singing the song, but just this constant loop of music and weird tape loops. But it's just a fantastic song, and to me that song defines Revolver. So that's why it's number one.
Mm. For my number one, can I just say ditto and be done with it? Because what can I say? Yeah, Tomorrow Never Knows is my number one. I never get tired of hearing it. And you don't play it on regular radio stations, but if I'm listening to a Beatles related station and they play that song, I just turn it way up.
Mhm.
I never get tired of it. What can I say? In a way, the introduction to psychedelia, not the first psychedelic song, maybe. I don't know. I don't follow all the bands, but it's a hint of what's to come, as has been said before. With Sergeant Pepper, Ringo's unique drumming, the tape loops, bizarre soundings and chant sounds that they have, and John's voice sounding so otherworldly and spinning around in circles, kind of, and distant, yet off in the cosmos somewhere. I mean, I love everything about that track, and the end too. The way it ends, a little like this distorted, kind of off in different hazardous
It's
directions
almost
at the
chirpy, yeah.
very end of it. I love everything about it. I can't add more to it than that. I don't think in the lyrics, Tibetan Book of the Dead. Yeah, and it's a song where I'm surprised a lot of people put it high. I'm surprised in a way. I mean, I could see why people wouldn't really care for that song. It's not a more conventional kind of song, pop song or anything. I'm running late here, so I'm going to speed this up a little bit because I have to go somewhere. But let's just finish up and see what other people put for number one. We have Eleanor Rigby, number one. Tomorrow Never Knows. Chaotic, yet cohesive. Ah, masterpiece. Here, there, and everywhere. Okay, prefer the other version there. I'm Only Sleeping. That's cool. Jeff's number
Mm.
one. What a favorite Beatles song. She said, number one. And Your Bird Can Sing at number one. Tomorrow Never Knows,
Mm.
number one. Taxman at number
Wow.
one. Tomorrow Never Knows, another masterpiece, lyrically, sonically, you name it. Sounds like nothing today.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she said, not particularly close for Marcus even. Okay, Tomorrow Never Knows. Great show, guys. Thank you, John. Glad you liked it. Robert S. has Eleanor Rigby number two. For no one, number one. Taxman, number one. Biting, sneering vocals delivery. Okay, here, there, and everywhere. Yeah, I would like if you have the old list. Yeah, I'd like to know. Was it close? I don't even know. I don't have the time. It's like I'm supposed to leave somewhere and pick somebody up, and should have left 10 minutes ago, but I still have a little time. So, number one, Tomorrow Never Knows. Would you believe the popularity of the Beatles has to do with many other factors in their music? Uh, it has to do with many other factors than their music, given that most people music and nothing about their music. No, not at all. I think the music is everything now because and the reputation as well. But this is a long thing in itself. This is a video in itself. I always say that when the Beatles started out, it was very beneficial to them that they came after the JFK assassination, and America in particular was in the doldrums, and that helped to get a lift like that. But and that they were so different, they had to Liverpudlian accents and the English voices, the pudding basin haircuts, mop tops, and the suits and ties that was so different. But now is into them for their hair, or the JFK is not a factor anymore, or the suits. Today, everybody's into it today because the music holds up. So it wasn't just that there was some mediocre or so-so music going around then, but it was the image that carried them through. Because today, it's all about the music that holds up.
Yeah.
I don't know if I answered the question. in my opinion, the way that you wanted. But here, there, and everywhere. It's the only time you see. But I don't believe that's true. Paul's memory's got to be failing. First of all, John made it clear that he loved Hey Jude for one thing. You know, at the time, I know that. He said that. So I'm only sleeping. There you go. Hey, look. Oh, what do you know? Bingo. Oh, so he commented him on two songs. Okay. Yeah, but come on, man. He must have. There I go, sticking up for Johnny. Here, there, and everywhere. I'll post it in the comments. Yeah, post it in the comments when afterwards. Appreciate that. And I have to go now, but I just want to say hello to Mike. He just popped up. And okay, it's time to go. So I'm sorry I'm running a little late, folks. So I guess I got to end it pretty quick. Thank you everybody for being here. For me, make sure on the February 21st, which is tomorrow, right now. Not when you watch this back in 5 years, but I'm going to be on Talk More Talk, talking about Ringo Starr's career in the '70s. How did it start so great and then fizzle out and lose steam later on in the '70s? What happened? That's going to be on Talk More Talk right here on YouTube, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, live. I want to thank Matthew Turnage and Sam St. John. And please, guys, again, tell us where people can find you, Matt.
Yeah, my YouTube channel's Matthew Turnage, mostly Beatles and solo Beatles, but I'll touch on other stuff. So check it out.
Okay, Sam.
Yeah, Sam St. John, just like it's written there. I talk a lot about Americana. I love Van Morrison, Bob Dylan, Tom Petty. Love the Beatles too. And currently, also, I have a contest going on if anybody's interested in that, where I'm trying to get to 300 subs. I think I was too shy before this video started. So if you go over to my channel, you can see the rules and my entry, kind of the demo of the contest. And I would appreciate your support. And again, thank you, Joe, for having me on today.
Oh,
Real
sure.
fun.
It was a lot of fun. I appreciate it, you being
Yeah.
here. And yeah, I think please go over and subscribe to these guys, and maybe Sam will get over the 300 that he's looking for right now. And this show that I do, Fab Gab, there's not a regular time for it. We do it when we think we can fit it in or how our schedules work and such. And I'm going to be rotating, guests and things. So it'll be a lot of fun as the shows go on. It won't always be about ranking albums, songs, but it's something I like to do because I eventually like to cover every single album by all solo Beatles. So thank you, everybody. This has been a lot of fun. Take
Thank
care
you.
and see you next time.